Chapter 19. Twilight looked over her checklist for the save time. She didn't have the luxury of making mistakes. This might be one of the most important scientific discoveries in the last millennium. All her equipment seemed to be in order. After checking everything again, Twilight was ready to begin the experiment. Twilight picked up a knife over magic and pricked the side of a hoof. She was careful to drop the blood into a petri dish. After filling it with a few drops, Twilight used her magic to grab a band-aid to close her wound. She used an eyedropper to suck in some of the blood and dropped a small droplet onto the side. She closed the petri dish with a top and the side was pointed to a microscope. Twilight peered into it. Twilight gasped. Her blood differed from a normal pony's blood. There were subtle differences, but they were there. The components of the blood were different. Sakura was right. When Kurana transformed into a star beast, it changed her. Twilight couldn't suppress a grin. Already she was thinking of all the different tests she could do. She couldn't wait to start a research paper. Even better, multiple research papers. Twilight could help but bounce around a little. She was a new species now. It was scary, sure, but the implications couldn't be unstated. Alright, she was thinking about how this could improve pony kind. Twilight tried to rein in her excitement. That had to wait for now. First, she had to help Trixie. The unicorn in question was asleep in a chair, snoring. All the excitement today must have worn her out. It was getting late. Twilight grabbed Trixie in her magic and put her on her cot. Then he led to her and covered the sleeping pony with a blanket. You know, all these friendship moments are not helping the Twixie feelings I keep getting. Twilight wondered if there was a way to use her condition to help. How did Corona turn into a monster exactly? Is it possible to turn into one again? She didn't relish turning back to Corvus, but if it helped Trixie against her father and his mad schemes, then Twilight pulled a book from her shelf. It's about transformation magic. It's about time for her to get to the bottom of what Corona did to her. Greengrass eyed Solitaire as he cast a spell on the unconscious Fisher. How is he? He's fine, like the other doctors said, Solitaire explained. He's just in a severe case of exhaustion. Then why is Carrot Top up and on her hooves and he isn't? Greengrass asked. Right now, the Earth Pony farmer was under a house arrest of sorts with the princess. She seemed tired, but otherwise fine. Fisher had been in a coma for the last 3 hours. Solitaire crunched her brow. I'm not sure. The planetary morpher must put more strain as the host. Wonderful. Greengrass didn't like the cost these morphers put on them. He wondered what would happen if their morphers broke after a fight. Solitaire looked down at Fisher's unconscious form and snorted. So much for the god of war. Greengrass blinked. He was a little surprised at the flippant tone the scientist used towards her boss. Oh well. He wasn't the one that hired her, and knew Fisher wasn't the best boss of Equestria. Here's something I don't quite understand. At the end of Caratal's fight with Fisher, her armor flickered in and out of existence after getting a... Why is that? Why didn't it shatter or unmorph? This really bothered Greengrass. Somehow, the Care Farmer's stubborn refusal to accept defeat allowed her to use her powers past the point of reason. Solitaire considered this for a moment. I believe this is because the Galaxy Rangers' powers are directly linked to willpower. Willpower. Explain. Greengrass commented. Back when they first got their power, the Galaxy Rangers formed a bond through camaraderie and friendship towards a common enemy. Their determination to win gave them the power to use the elements of harmony. Even when it wasn't fully undefeated, it gave them the power to fight even the Zora Titan herself. Simply put, the will to fight is the source of their power, Solitaire explained. I see, Greengrass said. Willpower. How troublesome. This made particularly a stupid pony like Trixie dangerous. She always refused to give up, despite all reason and logic. Still, this might be something he could use. He smirked. This might be the key he needs to defeating them. Twilight put her 35th book down into a nearby pile. She tapped a hoof to her mouth. She thought she had an idea how Corona's spell worked. It was a good thing she saw the tyrant son casting the spell. It seemed possible she could invent a spell that mimicked it and use it on herself, and it followed mixing several spells together. It had to do with pulling out the latent star beast essence in her and transforming her body with it. Twilight's ears folded. It was hard not to be a little scared. What would happen to her mind if she did this? What if she lost control? No. She would count on Trixie to save her again if that happened. so you would trust her. Twilight smiled when she looked at her new friend. It was odd. She often felt friends were a burden and a waste of time, but now she counted on Trixie and enjoyed being with her. What a strange turn of events. Twilight felt a little thirsty, so she grabbed a glass from the cupboard and went to the sink in the bottom. She filled it with water and took a deep drink. She froze when she heard a small thud and turned. Trixie was asleep in the cot, so Twilight kept scanning the room. Nothing seemed out of disarray. Twilight laughed to herself. She was getting jumping and turned to get some more water. Twilight dropped her glass and turned to the ground when she heard Trixie's muffled screams. She gaped. It was her father, and he had Trixie in a tight group with a hoof over her mouth to gag her. "Trixie!" Twilight screamed in alarm. Her father had no expression on his face. Trixie tried and failed to get herself loose. In a flash, both were gone. Twilight ran back and forth in a panic. What was he to do? 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 This was really bad. She had it. She needed to get to the princess right now. They'd probably put her in jail for breaking Trixie out, but that didn't matter at the moment. In the blink of an eye, Twilight was already out of the basement and out the front door. Violet made a cry of surprise, but Twilight ignored her. She forced herself to calm down and ran for her teleport to the castle. "Twilight!" a voice called. Twilight ignored it. Whoever it was could wait. Her eyes wide in surprise, she found herself on an aura mat and couldn't move. "It is her!" a voice said in surprise. Twilight cried a sigh of relief as he sat back on the ground. She yelled in surprise as the light blue face was now in hers. "Where is she?" the strange man demanded. "Where's Trixie?" Twilight took a step back and blinked. She recognized the light blue unicorn. Wasn't this Lyra, Trixie's friend? Lemon Hearts walked up next to Lyra and tilted her head. "You look scared of your mind. Did something happen?" Twilight took a moment to compose herself. Time was of the essence. "My dad has Trixie. He took her and teleported somewhere." Both of the mayors gasped. Lyra panicked. "What are we going to do?" "Do you have any idea where he might have taken her?" Lemon asked. Twilight folded her ears and looked down. "No." "Arrgh!" Lyra screamed. "This is horrible." "We need the princess," Lemon said. Twilight nodded. "That's where I was going. We need to start a search for them. Scour the city." Lyra brightened. "I got it. I think I know where we should look first." "Really?" Lemon asked. "Abandoned warehouses. Ditsy always said the bad guys loved them. This would be a perfect place for the two of them to be alone without anybody bothering them, especially at this hour," Lyra explained. "I guess that could work," Twilight said unsure. "So I guess that might work. Her father won't bring Trixie home to his office. Too many witnesses." "Lemon, I want you to find Ditsy, tell her what's going on, and get the princess. We'll hunt for Twilight in that nutcase," Lyra ordered. "Got it!" Lemon and I ran off. "Let's go," Lyra said, started towards the North District. "Wait," Twilight said, and Lyra stopped. "What?" Lyra said, impatient. "One sec." Twilight teleported back to the lab and grabbed her prototype morpher, teleported back. She figured Trixie might need it. Nature might allow Trixie to use it finally. "Ready?" Lyra said, annoyed. "Grab my hoof. I'll use several cells to teleport us there." Twilight extended a hoof. "Oh, I guess we could do that." Lyra said a bit sheepish and grabbed Twilight's hoof. They teleported. Twilight prayed to Luna that Trixie would be alright. Trixie was in pain as she was thrown to the ground by the Tony that teleported with her. She shook her head and looked around. It seemed she was in the middle of a large abandoned building. It looked run down. Many of its windows were broken and there were holes in the roof. The room seemed dusty. It didn't look like any Pony had been here for a long time. It was also very dark, and Trixie tried her best to adjust to the darkness. Trixie heard a hostess behind her, and looked and instantly regretted. That like stone-hard face was looking down at her. "Oh, Pony Feathers." "Hi, Viceroy Nightlight. Fancy meeting you here," Trixie tried. It sounded stupid, but she was reaching for words at the moment. "Viceroy," Nightlight growled a word. "Not anymore, thanks to you." "Okay, this is not good." Trixie wasn't sure how the noble lost his title at the moment, but she was worried about that later. "You know what they say, titles aren't everything," Trixie blurted out. She was desperate for words now. The glare in the form of nobles giving her terrified her. "You ruin everything I touch." Nightlight grabbed Trixie by the throat, trying to throttle her. He lifted her in the air, and Trixie dangled uselessly. She tried fighting back, but it was too strong. Kicking did nothing. It was getting hard to breathe now. She was feeling lightheaded. "No, not like this," Trixie thought. "Sorry, everybody." Trixie winced as she fell to the ground and took down a breath. She looked at Nightlight and a smile made her blood turn cold. No, Nightlight said. That would be too easy. Nightlight pulled out his morpher. It's morphin' time! Jupiter! Tracy pulled herself from the ground and saw a door about 10 hosts away. If she could make it. Tracy knew he wanted her to think that. Nightlight seemed amused by her attempts to save herself. Tracy scowled. She would win this. There's no way she would let this guy win. She would get out of this. The problem was this pony could pulverize her with a single punch. Her mind raced on her options. Tracy knew Twilight was out looking for her. All she had to do was find a way to signal her, and she could escape. The question was, how? Tracy looked out the window and noticed something. A sign for fireworks. She might be able to steal some and use that to signal her friend. But how to escape this brute? You are such a coward, Tracy mocked. She pointed towards his armor. Fight me like a stallion! She prayed this would work. Nice try. In blur, Nightlight sent a punch to her face. Tracy screamed in surprise and ducked out of the way in time. She ducked under another punch and kicked Nightlight in the face with her back legs with everything she had. It wasn't to hurt him, but disorient him for a moment. It worked. Tracy used the distraction to run for the door. Nightlight screamed out a curse. Tracy ignored him and sprinted as fast as she could, Nightlight following close behind. She winced when she heard him summon his sword. She screamed in terror as his blade slit at her legs. She jumped out of the way in time. Hell, fighting feathers! Trixie screamed as she jumped out in time to swing from her head. A few hairs from her mane dropped to the ground. She made her way to the door again. So a few hooves away now, Trixie came to a sudden stop as a bolt of electricity shot past her and blew a hole in the wall. Nightlight's sword came next, and Trixie found herself dodging both a sword and bolts of electricity. She'd be furious at Nightlight's laughter. It wasn't for a scared of her life in a moment. In a flash, Nightlight disappeared, and Trixie dodged another blow to her head as her assailant appeared behind her. Trixie dodged more blows that came at her frightening speed. So lucky it was obvious Nightlight wasn't some kung fu master or something, and seemed like an amateur at fighting. Didn't make his attacks any less terrifying, though. Roll, she thrust in her lightning bolt. Any attempt to move towards the door was stopped by an attack to move her further away from her goal. Trixie wasn't sure how long she could keep this insanity up. Twice scowled as she ran to the warehouse district. There were at least 20 or so abandoned warehouses to check out. The last street produced no results. His horn was alight. She was using a spell to amplify her hearing to see if she could pick up Trixie's voice or some other odd sound in the silence. Nothing! Lyra growled, stopping her spell, stomping a hoof. I was so sure that would work. We can't give up, Twilight said to calm down the agitated unicorn. I'm sure Trixie will find a way to... Twilight and Lyra jumped at a sudden flash of lightning in the distance. What the heck was that? Lyra asked. She looked at mostly cloudless sky. I don't think there's a storm scheduled today. A sudden realization hit her like a ton of bricks. She turned to her companion, whose face seemed in determination. Whatever happens, don't freak out, okay? Twilight said, preparing herself what had needed to be done. Lyra blinked. Oh, what? Twilight's heart lit up and everything went white. She was struck with a wave of pure pain. It felt like her body was on fire. Her body turned black and morph. Her front hooves turned into wings that were almost as long as her body. Black tar-like feathers covered her body instead of fur. A beak-like mask appeared over her face. She stood on 2 legs instead of 4 now. Twilight felt her mind become more feral and animalistic. But she held a tight sudden desire to fight. She would not lose her control. What the hey? Lyra cried out again. Let's go. Trixie needs us. Twilight's raspy voice said. Lyra stared for a few minutes longer. Needed to seal herself a nod. Right. Twilight jumped in the air, tried to flap her wings to fly. She almost fell back down to the ground. But a part of her knew what to do. It was soon in the air. She wished she had more time to practice flying and hover in the air a little awkwardly. But it didn't matter at the moment. Protecting Trixie was all that mattered. It's morphin' time! Size of this! Lyra followed her as she flew towards the direction of the lightning. Trixie rolled, avoiding another lightning bolt, and panted as she caught on her hose. She glared in defiance at Nightlight, who seemed to be enjoying himself. He slowly canted towards her. Nightlight chuckled. Even now, you refuse to accept that your situation is impossible. I wonder how long this will change when I snap on a leg like a twig. Trixie winced as he strolled forward. At least he had her horn. She would wipe the smug grin off his face. She froze when she thought he heard her voice. Nightlight seemed to hear it too and was just as startled. A black figure smashed through a window and screamed as it crashed to the ground. Tracy winced at whoever it was. Looked like the landing was painful. Ow! The black figure sputtered and moved up. Okay, maybe trying to fly so soon was a bad idea. Tracy's eyes widened to deer plates and gazed as she recognized the voice. The black figure in front of her. It was Corvus, the raven. Corvus! Tracy sputtered. How was this possible? Nightlight froze like a statue, stared at Corvus, just as stunned as she was. Tracy screamed as the door to the warehouse was smashed to pieces. Behind it, Lyra stood in her blue armor. Trixie! Lyra screamed. We're here to rescue you! What, we? Did that mean Corvus was his hair? That was insanity! Get back! Corvus ordered. We'll handle this. Tracy did not understand what was going on. Why was Twilight Corvus again? She didn't seem evil this time. This was a good thing. It was nice to have her on their side. But seriously, though, why was Twilight... Go! Corvus said, stressing the importance of her words. Tracy nodded with some hesitance and ran behind the protective form of Lyra. Nightlight, for his part, didn't even seem to notice, still stunned by the appearance of his daughter. What happened to you? Nightlight asked, horrified. They said you were normal again. Give up now, Nightlight, Twilight commanded. It's over. You did this to yourself? Nightlight demanded. Yes, Twilight said simply. It's the only way to stop this insanity. Tracy tried not to cover her in terror as Nightlight turned his head towards her and stared hard. He looked furious. Insanity. Nightlight snorted. I'm just trying to save Equestria from this buffoon. She's a menace. Because of her, everything I've worked my entire life for has been destroyed. She's befouled our family's good name. She doesn't deserve to be a ranger. No, Twilight argued back. You did all that. All she did was expose how much of a foul pony you really are. Lyra told me of the things the princess discovered about you. You are the disgrace to our family. How dare you talk to your father like that? Nightlight screamed. Everything I have done was for the betterment of our family and for Equestria. I kept those corrupt mayors and officials in check, using the only method that would work. I did what I had to do. No, Twilight said. You should have gotten rid of them and replaced them with decent ponies. Decent ponies? Decent ponies don't exist in the Night Court. The system crushes such ponies. They are used, exploited, and thrown away like trash. The only way to survive is to use every dirty trick you can. That is complete bull, Twilight shot back. Tracy felt ill. This is what one of the top members of the Night Court thought of the system. This is how you get ahead in Night Court? By throwing yourself until you ended up like him? Ever since she was little, Tracy wanted to become a member of the Night Court and make a difference. But now, she didn't know. Sir, Tracy bet not all Night Court members are like him. Some are actually decent ponies. But the ponies at the top were like Nightlight. Things needed to change. So you have a long talk with Luna about this. Come on, Trixie! Lyra said, noticing her expressive dismay. Don't listen to him. This guy's obviously nuts. There's no way the system is that bad. Well, Trixie said, unsure. Lyra did her best not to retreat in fear, slightly growled at her. Pathetic filly. You do not understand what you're talking about. Father, please. Twilight said, pleading. Stop this. You can turn yourself in. I'm sure the princess will. Never! Nightlight snarled. I will never submit to her. I have worked my flank off for her for years. And how does she repay me? She stripped me of everything I've worked for and publicly humiliated me without a trial or even consulting me first to explain myself. Stay back, Twilight, Nightlight ordered. I'll look at the princess's princess doing exactly what she deserves. Never! Twilight said. She's my friend! Fine, Nightlight said with some regret. I'll have to punish you too. Lyra sewed her crossbow and aimed it at Nightlight's head. So be it. She fired several volleys of arrows at him. Nightlight responded by letting his horn fade to the ground. Lyra cursed and trained her weapon on the shadow rapidly approaching her. Nightlight screamed as a bolt for Twilight hit his shadow form, and he reappeared as a whole, stunned. Lyra took advantage of this and pelted him with arrows. Sparks flew, and Nightlight squirmed on the ground after flying a few hosts distance. Nightlight summoned his sword. In a flash, he teleported behind Lyra. Trixie's cry of warning was too late, and Nightlight's sword smashed Lyra's head, making her scream in pain. Nightlight wailed on her with his blade, only stopping when Twilight sent a fireball his way, and smashed to pieces before it could hit. Lyra groaned in agony on the ground. Pathetic. Natalie kicked Lyra in the ribs away as he unmorphed, not moving after skidding on the ground. Twilight snarled, shot a lightning bolt in Nightlight, that he avoided by teleporting away. She sent more electricity his way, but teleported around those two. They shot bolts of magic firebolts of electricity at each other in a fast, confusing sequence of teleporting and attacking. Trixie took advantage of the distraction and run to Lyra. "Are you okay?" she asked, picking up Lyra's head. Lyra was breathing, but she looked like she was in a lot of pain. Trixie let out a curse and picked up her friend's prone form and put her on her back. Trixie screamed as she was almost hit by a stray fireball. The heat was scorching for her a little. She ignored the pain and made her way towards the door. She needed to get out of there. It was difficult. Lyra was heavier than she looked. Lyra groaned behind Trixie. "Ugh, what happened?" "You'll be fine," Trixie answered, having to raise her voice over the fighting. "I'm getting you out of here." "No!" Lyra said. "I need to fight." She pulled out her morpher. "Not in this condition, you can't," Trixie asked. Lyra growled in frustration. "Why am I always the weakest one?" Trixie said nothing. She didn't have an answer to that and decided to just keep moving. It was almost to the door. Trixie dropped to Lyra in shock at Nightlight teleport in front of them. "Where do you think you're going?" He let his lure and set a fireball at him. Twilight teleported in front of the fireball and deflected it. Nightlight took advantage of this and hit Twilight in the head with the blunt part of his sword. She smashed to the ground with a scream of pain. Nightlight raised his horn for another spell, and Trixie had just enough time to get out of the way of a lightning bolt. Lyra fell out of her back and rolled away from her. Trixie struggled to her hose. She hit the ground pretty hard. Nightlight watched her dispassionately. Trixie looked at Twilight and her blood went cold when Twilight wasn't getting up. She looked too dazed to move at the moment. Nightlight levitated his sword in front of Trixie, who took an instinctive step back. "Don't worry. I won't kill you. Yet. First, I will destroy everything you care about." He pointed his sword at Lyra, who was still on the ground. Nightlight threw his sword at Lyra's head. Trixie moved. Trixie didn't care about herself or anything else. She wanted to protect her friend. She ran in front of the blade and a golden blur spat it out of the air with a hoof. It fell to the ground with a loud clang. "Nutty!" Nightlight said in total shock. Trixie's hoof was her morpher. Remember, folks, don't actually use your toy morphers to block a weapon out of midair. Trixie can do this because she's a badass. You are probably not a badass. You are a normal human. So please, take good care of your morpher toys. She glared at Nightlight with fire in her eyes. "It's morphin' time! Ursa!"